and we just, there we go. So we just do that so we're able to share this with people who weren't able to join us today. So I think that's all my housekeeping and intros done. So I am now going to hand over to Yasmin and Melissa. And then, as I said, if you have questions, put them in the chat and we will get to them at the end.
Fantastic. All right, Yvonne, thank you for that wonderful introduction. Everyone on the call, we're so happy that you're here and that you've taken the time to spend this hour with us. We're very excited to share with you everything that's been going on at Bottomless Closet. So I think we'll kick it off by talking about some of those things that Yvonne mentioned. Melissa, it's been a busy few months. You closed out the year and we looked at the numbers, and there's a 50% increase in the number of women served over the last year, which is fantastic. Bottomless Closet as an organization is celebrating its 25th anniversary, which is a huge milestone for any organization, particularly a nonprofit. And you rang the bell at NASDAQ, which was super fun. So tell us a little bit. It's been a busy time for you. Tell us a little bit about it.
So thank you again, Yasmin, for doing this with me together again. Happy Women's History Month. Very excited to be with you again for our 4th time together. So it's been a whirlwind. We celebrated our official anniversary on January 19th. And later in January, we did bring the NASDAQ bell. And the best thing about it was that we had such a great cross-section of our community present for that bell ringing. And we had almost 90 people. It was clients, volunteers, former board members, current board members, corporate supporters, individual supporters. We really had a great cross-section of the community represented. And it was an amazing, amazing day. But frankly, you know, every day that we have clients coming in the doors is amazing, especially since we've been a few years when it was super slow, and to have people coming in and seeing the space for the first time is incredible. Excuse me, you know, as you said, we've seen a huge increase in demand for our services, so more and more people are coming in every day, which is a great feeling. But 25 years isn't an insignificant milestone, obviously. It's great to know that our founders had this vision. It's resonated with people for so long, and people felt compelled to support it for so long. And the part that excites me the most is that we now have such a great community that is going to take us forward to the future.
Fantastic. Could not agree more. But for the listeners, we have obviously many who are very familiar with Bottomless Closet and our mission. But for some of our newer folks on the call, can you just give us a quick recap about the mission and the program to offer the services that we offer our clients?
Sure, of course. Well, for 25 years, our mission has been the same, which is to inspire and guide disadvantaged New York City women to enter the workforce and achieve success. And we give them everything they need to prepare for their job interviews. We work on their resume. We do interview skills. We give them clothing, makeup. We actually just introduced hygiene kits this year. We really give them the complete package to prepare for their job interviews. But we also know that, you know, just getting those things for your job interview, even getting the job, is not enough to get you fully on the path to self-sufficiency. So we have additional programming. We have an amazing array of workshops, whether our clients want to upskill in financial literacy or digital literacy, or there's an area of professional development they want to concentrate on. We have lots of really cool programming. And with 25 years of experience, we know that getting the job, having the workshops just one time is not enough, which is why these services have always been free. They will continue to be free. Once you come in our doors the first time, every service you receive is free for life.
Oh, that's so great. And I mean, that what you just described goes back to kind of what Yvonne was saying about when I joined in 2020. The reason why I joined is because I'm incredibly passionate about female professional advancement. And when I read the mission and I heard about the programs here, I was just blown away. I was like, this is it. This is where I want to spend my time. And, you know, you mentioned as you talked about it, the clients being disadvantaged New York City women. Can you unpack that a little bit, explain like who our clients are, as well as how they find us?
Sure. So our clients come from across all 5 boroughs of New York City. About half of them are referred through referral partners around the 5 boroughs. And those partners are the city college system, homeless shelters, city agencies, domestic violence victims groups that work with the formerly incarcerated. And the other half of the clients are clients that have been through our doors before. Maybe they've referred friends and family, had a great experience here, and they want to spread that word in their community. So those are really the 2 populations that we get clients from. And, you know, 100% of our clients are low income.
Yeah.
80% in 2023, 80% reported a income of under $20,000 and 20% reported an income of under $10,000. So the need is very basic. 83% of our clients are women of color. 75% are single, and more than 50% are single mothers. And as far as education, about half have high school diplomas or GEDs, but sadly 7% report no formal education at all. Age-wise, I think there's kind of a silver lining in that a third of our clients are between 30 and 39. So that is a woman's prime working years. And so they're coming to us at a point where we can really impact the trajectory of their life and career. So that's a really good time for us to meet them.
Oh, that's great. So that gives us a really good picture. Thank you, Melissa, for that, of what our client looks like. What about, we've all been hearing about the last 12 months, there's been an influx of migrants into New York City. Have you been seeing a migrant women population coming for our services? Have you been able to serve them?
Yeah, the migrant situation is truly heartbreaking. And we all want to be able to do more to help, right? And in some cases, we have had women come through our doors that we can help. I would say it's been the minority of the population that's come here. Most of them have very basic needs at this point, and they're not ready to avail themselves of our services. And we've actually had some men show up here too. They're just not ready to start working. They don't have working papers, which is a real challenge. The thing that we've been doing, which has been participating in the community of agencies, city and private agencies supporting the migrants, and listening to what they're doing and being able to share that information with people who come through our doors. The other thing we've focused on is getting more bilingual volunteers in our doors, because we know that is necessary for that population, and that we've had success in doing that, and we're ready to serve more migrants as they become available for work.
Got it. Okay, that's incredibly helpful. And now going back to our clients and the numbers, Yvonne mentioned in the beginning, you've been around for some time now, and you've seen the highest of our highs, as well as the pandemic and some of our lower numbers. But in this past year, you've seen a 50% increase in number of clients served. Can you help us understand what is driving that?
Yeah, I mean, we saw almost 1,600 women come through our doors this past year. In person, which is great.
Fantastic.
And that's compared with 1,000 last year. So it was a 50% increase, which is great. We also saw another 1,600 for workshops. And when we did our first town hall back in 2021, it was a very different picture. And COVID is over for many of us, but not everyone. And our clients were the hardest hit by COVID, quite frankly. And the recovery has taken more time for that population. Many of our clients are not in jobs where they can ever work remotely. They are, trying to process everything that they've gone through during COVID. And many have changed industries. They're working in new industries. They didn't feel like that their employers in the industries they were in were protecting them very well during the pandemic. So it's taking some time to adjust. And, I just think it was very interesting. A couple of weeks ago, we had that small snow day, right?
Right.
And the school system shut down. It wasn't supposed to be a blizzard, but the school system shut down.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, we're all going to Zoom. Everything's great.
Yeah.
But if you're one of our clients that's calling out sick one day because your 7-year-old has to be on Zoom. And our clients can't work from home in most cases, like I said. So they will miss a day of work. And those are the reasons that our clients lose their jobs. And so I think we need to be more cognizant of that as we reinvent the workplace for everybody.
Absolutely. That's a great point. As a parent of 2 young school-age children, I felt that pain that day. And I have the flexibility of taking that day off and not worrying about my job security. So I completely understand. I think that's a great point. So you mentioned also the volunteers. So many of whom are on the call today, our volunteers, our volunteer career coaches, they really are the backbone of the organization. They interact with our clients every day. They were also impacted, obviously, by the pandemic and beyond that. So where are we now with our volunteer base? Like, give us a bit of tell us a little bit about what our volunteer base looks like.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see where we are today with our volunteers, because it's been a big change over the past year.
Yeah.
As you said, we couldn't do our work without our volunteers. We rely on our volunteers so much, and we're so grateful for their time and dedication. It was so nice to see some of the names coming on the screen today of some folks I've seen recently, others who I haven't seen in a very long time in person. And we've had some attrition among our volunteer career coaches. Some of that likely would have happened regardless of the pandemic, and some of it was accelerated.
Right.
And so we've seen over the past year a significant change, like I said, significant growth in the population and onboarding and training of new volunteers. We've onboarded 37 new volunteers in 2023, and we've got an awesome new volunteer manager in Genevieve Smith. And many of our volunteers have met her for the first time, just the past couple of months. And we're actually back to pre-pandemic volunteer levels, which is terrific. So we have about
Fantastic.
135 active volunteers and 15 training volunteers now. So lots of new faces, but they're getting acclimated pretty quickly.
Wonderful. That's fantastic. Great to hear. I think the energy, just walking around, the energy and the vibe when the volunteers are everywhere, it's amazing in the space. So talking about the space, we were talking a lot in the last town hall about this new space and how we were very excited about it because how it was going to help us serve our clients even better. So can you talk to us a little bit about how the space has helped you? How do you feel it's helped us serve our clients better?
Yeah, I remember, in the darkest times of the pandemic when we were building this space and we were here alone. And it's still a lot of people are seeing this space for the first time.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more special than when a client walks up the elevator and sees the space and just the look on their faces. I think many clients come to us expecting that they're going to see the equivalent of another government agency and dark and drab and all of that. And this is the opposite, right?
Yeah.
This is bright, welcoming, really structured to meet our clients' needs. It's in a really central location across the street from the Empire State Building, which is great, makes it even easier to get here and have our clients access services. We've got this amazing new coaching room, which really allows us a lot of space, but also a lot of flexibility. We've had a couple of career fairs in here.
Yeah.
We've had, in a couple of career fairs, we have hundreds of clients who were able to access, jobs listings and opportunities that they wouldn't have had the opportunity to do elsewhere. We had a fireside chat with the CEO of the New York Liberty and the founder of LaFleur, our clothing partner. And in Q4 of last year, we actually launched the computer lab, which is behind us now, which is exciting, where, we really responded to our clients who said in surveys they needed a computer, they needed access to computers.
Yeah.
And we've seen access to libraries cut, and we knew how important that was. And so we opened this computer lab, thanks to a grant from our partners at the Hyde and Watson Foundation. And clients now have the ability to update their resumes in real time here. And work on their job search in a supported environment where they can ask us any questions. We can help them with the technology or the website that they're applying through. It's been great to have those options in this space. Another thing it's really allowed us to do here is have a more streamlined inventory management process,
Right.
which is led by our jack of all trades, our office manager, Carlos Calderon. And it's made it easier for our volunteers not to be walking all over each other as they, sort through all the donations and put them out and make sure everything is really put out beautifully so the clients have an amazing experience.
Wow, that's fantastic. I mean, I'm a big fan of this space. I think it's great. I think there is, the beauty also of the changing rooms and the boutique, I think is just such a wonderful experience for our clients when they come in. So I think, always top of mind for myself as a supporter of this organization and as a very proud donor is impact, right? And many of the people on the call as well. Can you talk to us about the impact that our donations have had over this past year in 2023?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you to you and everybody else out there who supported us this past year. I know it's been a challenging time for everybody, not just our clients, right? So we really appreciate that. And as we discussed, our client numbers grew 50% over the past year, which is incredible. But we've also seen tangible results of these services on our clients. Of our clients who are working, 87% use Bottomless Closet services to succeed in their job search, which is terrific. And also in our surveys that we take, pre-interview, 98% of our clients said they felt more confident and prepared after their time using our services. And so lives are changed here every day. They really are. And you can see it in real time, which is pretty special. And that couldn't happen without our supporters. Whether you're donating a blouse or whatever financial resources you can give us, it makes an impact on the clients here.
Right, or volunteering your time. It
Yes.
all makes a huge impact. So that was a little bit looking back. Let's look forward now. For 2024, what are some goals you can share with us?
Well, we want to continue to grow those client numbers. Yes, they're growing, but we want them to grow faster and provide services to more women We know the need is there and we want to serve more clients. We also want to keep those workshop numbers steady. We know that that's a really important piece of what we do. And we're going to keep, training and recruiting new volunteers, bringing on additional bilingual volunteers to support us because that need is growing. We know that we're seeing more Hispanic clients than ever before. We're going to evolve our workshop curriculum to meet our clients' responses to their surveys about what they're looking for. Do more things like entrepreneurship, which I know you led for our clients in our workshops last year. So, we've always been very responsive to what our clients are looking for, and we're going to continue to do that. On the development side, Yvonne, with the help of our database manager, Erica Essen, have launched our Plan Giving program, which many folks on the call today will have seen communications about that program. And we're also going to be having our 25th anniversary luncheon, which is super exciting. And finally, strategically, the 25-year milestone is a great time to look at where we are and where we want to be. So we're actively working with board members like you and others to create some long-term goals for the organization.
Wonderful. So you mentioned the luncheon. And last year was the first time I got to attend a luncheon, and I had such an incredible experience. Many highlights from that luncheon, but the one that stands out the most in my mind is always that client panel that was incredible, where they talked about their experience with Bottomless Closet and how it had helped change the trajectory of their career and their lives. This year is obviously a big one with the 25th anniversary. Are you planning on doing something special to mark that?
Yeah, so lots of special things. Some we'll talk about, some we won't, to keep it interesting. We'll certainly look at the highlights from the 25 years, where we've been and where we want to go, and look at the future and what we can be for our clients. It's going to be May 15th at Cipriani 42 again, where we've been for a number of years. Monica Morales from Pix 11 News, who was such a phenomenal MC last year, is going to be back this year. We're going to be giving the corporate award to DeFreight and Pavela, who have been longtime corporate supporters. We're going to give the empowerment award to Regina Gwynn, who is a co-founder of Black Women Talk Tech. And we are going to be giving our first ever Male Ally Award to Ed Lewis, who is a co-founder of Essence Magazine. And last but not least, our Volunteer of the Year award will go to Arlene Bessenoff, who's a longtime volunteer here, which is pretty exciting. So lots of things, to look forward to there, and lots more to come.
I'm looking forward to it. Lots to celebrate that day. So for, everyone on the call who is either a supporter now or thinking of becoming a supporter of Bottomless Closet, what's the why? Why, with all the other things out there that are demanding our time and our volunteering and our funding, why Bottomless Closet?
Well, thank you again to everybody who supported us, no matter how you supported us, whether you gave us $10 or $10,000, a blouse, or even more special, your time as a volunteer. We couldn't do this without everybody's generosity in whatever form that takes. 25 years ago, our founders saw a need to empower women to succeed in the workforce, and they took steps to meet that need. And sadly, there are more women living in poverty today in New York City than ever before. And so the need is there and greater than ever. With everybody's help, we know these women can succeed, and that's why we're still here and going strong and wanting to grow more. And this year, as Yvonne mentioned, International Women's Day is coming up. And the theme this year is Inspire Inclusion. And we know that when women themselves are inspired to be included, there's a sense of relevance and empowerment. And that's really what we're all about. And I think collectively we can all work together to make a more inclusive world for women. Whatever the size of your donation, whether it's an introduction to somebody who might be able to support us, or a new corporate partner, whatever it is, your action is an investment in a women's future and the future of her family as well in most cases.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. All right, I think that is a great point to end our chat and turn it back over to Yvonne to see if anyone has any questions. We'd be more than happy to take questions.
Great. Well, thank you both. That was such an interesting conversation, and we covered a lot of ground. And so far, I see one question in the chat. So That's a great place to get us kicked off. So this question is from Phyllis, who's there with Stephanie Steele. And the question is, how do clients hear and know about Bottomless Closet? So Melissa, maybe you could cover that one.
Sure. So a lot of our clients come through referral partners. Pam Colness, who I know is on the call, our program director, really works to maintain the relationships with the referral partners. Chris Melicasso, our program coordinator, is always out in the field meeting new partners. And, you know, there are a lot of agencies that we work with. I think the largest percentage of clients came from the Grace Institute last year. But there are many agencies around the cities. Henry Street Settlement House is another big one that, you know, refer their clients to us. They may perform some services to assist clients with their job search, but those agencies are very much overwhelmed and don't have the breadth of services that we offer. So about half of our population is coming from there. And the other half are clients who have had a great experience and will refer friends and family, or we're meeting them at job fairs, you know, really just out in the community. We've spoken to different council members' offices, so lots of different places, but we're always looking for new sources of referrals. So if there's an agency you think may not know about us, or a client that you think would really benefit from our services, you know, please get in touch.
Thanks for that, Melissa. And just to sort of piggyback on that answer, I think one of the things that we've really tried to do, you know, during and post-pandemic was to remove barriers for women who need help, right? I mean, there's enough obstacles and barriers in people's lives in general. And so that, you know, referral program internally through clients has really helped us with that as well. I'm seeing another question. It's from Shalisha Melendez about what sizes are needed most for clothing. And just before we answer that one, I just want to give a shout out to Jay Jill, who are on the call, who have provided us with many different needs for our boutique by way of clothing over the years, and also the Jane and Kira from Women with Ambition, who did an amazing clothing drive for us in the last few months. And there's probably other people, so I'm sorry if I don't know who you are just by first name or phone number or whatever, but a shout out to everybody who's helped us in that way. But Melissa, do you want to go through what we need right now?
Yes, absolutely. So we always have the largest demand for plus sizes. We never get enough plus sizes. You know, we have you know, when we first got here just a year and a half ago now, we had very little clothing because all those clothing drives that Yvonne was referring to had just been shut down. All the offices were closed that usually do clothing drives for us. And a large percentage of the inventory that we get does come through corporate clothing drives. So the more of those, the better. We also never get enough great purses. So in addition to sizes, that's another priority I'll mention. If you're ever looking to do a non-clothing drive or just specifically something else we need, purses would be top of my list.
Thanks, Melissa. And for anyone on the corporate side on the call, I'm thinking about, you highlighted earlier DeFreight and Pavela, who are one of our honorees at this year's luncheon, and their relationship started with us through a clothing drive. And many of our partners, it's a really good intro point for companies who maybe don't know that much about us or want to get their employees involved, like doing a clothing or a purse drive is something that's you know, a really nice introduction to us, and we can deepen the relationship from there. Alrighty, I'm looking in the chat. I'm not seeing any other questions right now, but people, please feel free to raise your hand or virtual hand or real hand, and people can also unmute themselves. So if you want to just jump right into the water here and unmute yourself and ask a question, that is okay too. So maybe just give that a minute. See if anyone has anything else. Melissa, one thing I was just thinking, oh, I see a hand up. All right. And I also see a question in the chat. So this is a question from Stephanie. Oh no, we already did that question. Sorry. Oh, there is a question from Stephanie though. I'm not going crazy. So Stephanie, who's a volunteer, says, as a volunteer, it feels like I am seeing more clients from shelters than I used to. Is this accurate? Great question.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, we do survey our clients about where they come from. I think that people are living in different situations. And so defining shelter, whether they're in a shelter or sleeping on someone's couch, right? So I think that people are living in a lot of different places. It's really hard to kind of capture that information. We know that there are a lot of migrants in the shelter system, and they're about half the population at this point.
Thanks, Melissa. And yeah, I think that, you know, the nature of the data that we capture shows some sort of changing trends in that area as well. So it's sort of how people, you know, really reflect where they're living, and if they're, you know, somebody can be in transition and be on somebody's couch as well. But I mean, it's always been the case, I think, Stephanie, and will continue to be, that a large number of our clients are presenting as being homeless, whether that's shelter or another situation. I see a hand up from Cindy McNamara, who's one of our board members who's on the call. Cindy, great to see you. Feel free to jump in with your question.
Thank you, Yvonne. Yeah, it's great to see you. And thank you so much for doing this, Yasmin and Melissa. This is the first time I'm on a donor town hall. Apologies, going to need to step away. So apologies if this is repeat. I did hear a little bit about the volunteering that is available. I was wondering if you're able to speak more about the training required, and also whether or not folks who are thinking about donating and or volunteering, was wondering if tours are available of the fabulous new space that you have. Thank you.
Right. Well, nice to see you, Cindy. Thank you for the question. So we don't require any specific skills to become a volunteer. We train everybody. We do have an orientation that starts the relationship. It's about 1 hour. And after that, it's very hands-on training and tailored to the individual. The same way we don't do cookie cutter things for our clients, we don't treat our volunteers all with the same training either. So we work with our volunteers to, you know, assess their skills and their comfort with different areas. And our volunteers will shadow other volunteers to become trained. Like I mentioned earlier, we have 15 training volunteers now, which is great. And so the new volunteer will get different experiences in shadowing different volunteers. Everybody does things a little bit differently, and they're all right. So, you know, if you go on a job interview, you're going to have so many different backgrounds and skill sets represented as well. So the best way to train volunteers is have them shadow other volunteers, get a sense of their comfort, and then pave their own way. And as far as tours, if anybody would like to come, we love to show off our space. Like I said, you know, just having people come and visit and get off the elevator and just be wowed by what they see and the environment they experience when they get here. We love to do that. And so if you're someone who's thinking about volunteering, you know, come for an orientation. We have lots of wonderful people who've been volunteering for a long time. We have a lot of new faces as well, but come check it out and we'd love to meet you.
Thanks, Melissa. And one little story there on giving tours. I had a donor who I'd been working with since the pandemic, who lives in Rome in Italy. And she was so excited to come in and visit us a couple months ago. She came straight from the airport. She had a wheelie bag full of clothes that she was donating. She gave us the wheelie bag and the clothes and everything. And even though she'd seen us on video and on Zoom and all that, it was just amazing to see her reaction to being here in person. So, you know, Melissa's right. We love the opportunity to do that. So if there's people in your world, whether it's friends, whether it's your company, who are interested, you know, please reach out and we'd be delighted. You know, it's super easy just to give people a tour. We love to do that. And Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday is the best day because it's when our clients and volunteers are here. So it's a really great atmosphere. Something that I just got reminded of in the chat from Anne Blackman, who's here. Shout out to Anne, who is our luncheon co-chair, one of our luncheon co-chairs again this year. Melissa, maybe worth mentioning the auction at the luncheon and how that's always another way people can get involved is by providing us with items to auction off on the day.
Sure. Hi, Anne. Thank you, Anne, for mentioning the auction and for being a champion for it. So we've had, actually since the start of the pandemic, the first luncheon of the pandemic, we've had a silent auction. We actually had a live auction before the pandemic. And we, you know, it's another way of fundraising around the event. Some people can't, you know, necessarily afford to come to the event, so they can buy something online in support of the event. Or if they're at the event and they can spend a little bit more money, they have the opportunity to, bid on some priceless experiences. So if you have access to priceless experiences or high-end items, please get in touch with me. We'd love to hear about them and add them to our auction.
Yeah, I can vouch for that auction being amazing. I have 2 signed Knicks jerseys in my son's bedroom that he is obsessed with. Thank you to whoever donated those. They were the highlight of his year. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this auction.
Amazing. That's great. Yeah, I'm glad we got to mention that. That's important. Okay, just scanning the chat here and scanning for any hands. I'm not seeing any others, but we've covered a lot of ground here, so we might be sort of coming up close on time. I'll just give it another minute. Melissa or Yasmin, were there any kind of closing remarks you wanted to say just while we're just seeing if anyone has another point?
I'm just looking at, who I can see from here, who's on the chat. It's really, just reminds me of the NASDAQ day. And what was so special about it is seeing, the breadth of our community and how it's evolved. And, so many former volunteers who've come back, who weren't with us for a few years, and so many who emailed recently, they're still coming back. Many moved out of the area for the pandemic, which was great to see. The fact that we still have founders involved 25 years in is pretty awesome. We have, so many new board members who were involved, and corporate supporters. We've had so many new corporations that have started working with us over the past several years. And men, we had men at the event as well. And we have, our first Male Ally Award. So I think it's just showing the evolution of where we started and where we're going, and hopefully, really more exciting things in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think in one closing remark I'll make was just how excited I am about this donor town hall every year, because I'm incredibly proud of this organization and all the work it does. And I see just so much room for growth and, doing even more. And I think it's so great to have this form of transparency and have this open dialogue with all our supporters and our volunteers. And, this is one of many, but having this forum to ask whatever questions you can ask, and our board members, our executive director, our head of development, we're all here. We're happily answer any questions. We're very excited about working together to basically serve as many women as we possibly can. So thank you so much for taking the time, would be my closing remark, to join us today, because it really, really matters to us.
Thank you for all of your support.
Thanks, Yasmin and Melissa. And just to echo those sentiments, it means a great deal to us, not only that you're here for us today, but that you're here for us in all the ways that you are throughout the year. We don't get to being here for 25 years on our own. It's very much a collective endeavor, and it's something that we, are so grateful every day to have all of you as part of our journey. So thank you for coming. If anybody is, moved to ask a question afterwards, feel free to reach out, to email me. My email address is on our website if for any reason you don't have it. If there's any other ways that you think about you might want to get involved, Melissa mentioned our planned giving program. If for any reason you haven't received information on that, please reach out to me. And just, to end with a big thank you. We're so glad to have you all here. We hope to see many of you in May at our luncheon, and many of you before that here at Bottomless Closet. So thanks again for coming.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.